if you are a busy entrepreneur and you are focused on the push, you are going miles at like 100 miles per hour, you are moving, you're hustling, you wake up, time is limited, and you also feel the stress and the pressure of that, then this episode is definitely for you. Because, not gonna lie, I have major tendencies for most of my career and a lot of my career in entrepreneurship that I have also felt this way. This idea that time is limited. We only have 24 hours a day. We obviously don't have the same 24 hours a day if you're a mom, a caretaker, if you are kind of still building your business or you're doing multi-passionate things and you've got multiple things, then you know that time isn't equal. And when we think about a holistic life and what we really came into entrepreneurship for and freedom, when we think about the word freedom, it's a lot more than just money. It's a lot more than just do the work so that I get the thing, because that thing is this kind of carrot that we continue to chase. If that's the way we're operating, we forget the importance of being in the present moment. When we're in the present moment, time slows down. And adding in a few things about just looking at our phones, being on our screens, notifications, emails, AI, all of that on a frequency level also interrupts that type of peace. And so what I want to talk to you today about is a very simple thing that literally could be a game changer for your emotional state as an entrepreneur. I'm not going to teach you mindset hacks today. I'm not going to teach you any of that. I'm not going to make you have a 20-point checklist for a morning routine. I'm going to tell you some very basic things that can help ground you and propel you into more creativity, efficiency, more effectiveness, and more power and peace. This is something that has taken me time to develop. So as you're listening to this and you're like, yes, I want this, recognize that just like your life and freedom, entrepreneurship and business, this is holistic. You're not going to go memorize these. I would love for you to embody one of them. As you embody one of them in 1 week and you just practice that, you come back to your notes, you come back to this podcast, you do another one. As that habit starts to form and you've embodied it and it's part of your routine, you will start seeing these shifts. And so these are some really basic things. They have nothing to do with tactics or strategy, but let's get into them. As we wake up, I just want you to imagine that you're in your bed. Not sure if you put the alarm on or if you naturally wake up, but whatever that is, I want you to imagine you just waking up. I want you to imagine the feeling that you have as you wake up. Is it that you're excited for the day? Do you have that abundance of energy? Or are you feeling a little groggy? You got to get up and you just got to make it all work, right? So first, I want you to imagine which one of those states you're in currently. And I also want you to imagine which state would you actually like to be in. So I want you now to imagine that beautiful state that you'd love to be in. And feel it in your body. Start to imagine that you are operating in that modality. When you get up, what is that first thing that you do? For me, the first thing that I do, I head to the kitchen, not to turn on the coffee, but I drink 2 glasses of water. We all know how much water we lose over the nighttime. Over that 8-hour period of sleep, it's substantial. And by drinking water, not only are you kind of giving life, giving movement, giving energy to your water and to yourself, but it's also a fabulous way to start waking up. If you're one of those people that just loves to kind of, gracing, slowly, gradually entering into my morning. And as part of Chinese medicine, it's also important to know if your body runs hot or cold and recognize that the water temperature is very important. So if you're in the winter and your body naturally runs cold, room temperature water or just heating it up slightly is really great because then it adds that fire to your nervous system, allowing you to move. And notice that you're just drinking water. You haven't looked at your phone. Your phone's not in your room at all. It's stored away because you recognize that The phone itself is not good for your stress levels. It's not good for your creativity. And you've decided in this new state of being that your phone is something that you're only going to look at after a few hours of being up. It's not important for you to look at the emails. It's not important for you to look at the social media. What's important for you in this morning routine is to connect with yourself, connect truly and deeply with yourself, and remember the intentions that you actually have for yourself, for your business, for your family, for your life, and for your freedom. Connecting to this part of yourself is only possible when you are able to detach from the noise of technology, detach from the noise of distraction, and become still and silent with yourself. So one of the things that I love to do is to just be present. I'm not a meditator. I practice meditation, but it's not my go-to because of how I like to train my mind and just how my mind naturally works. But what I really love to do is sit and stare out the window. Right now, where I'm looking is usually the ocean. It's going to be changing pretty soon, but just staring out there. And at that moment, that's when I start becoming quite aware of myself, of my breath. Breath work is a powerful tool to help you regulate your nervous system, to give you energy, and to calm yourself. Regulation is putting yourself in a state of calm. To give yourself energy is a state of energy, maybe activating a bit in a positive way. What's so beautiful about breath work is that you can do different forms depending on what you're looking for. Breath work, I'm going to have a whole podcast episode just on breath work. Breath work is super powerful for creativity, for unlocking your next level, for working with somebody who can help you unlock some of your blocks, things that have been blocking you, and then also just giving you life, right? Breath is ultimately life, and it is wild what a few breaths can do to calm you, put you back into the present moment, and feel grounded. As you've done this morning routine, having your water, and paying attention to your breath, you're allowing yourself to remember the intentions you have for yourself, that you have for your business, that you have for your family, whatever those intentions are. They're big intentions, maybe they're small intentions, but that is your time to set the stage, set the present moment for what is to come for your day. And if you feel compelled to journal, to write in the form of self-expression or creativity or what you're wanting, being able to do that has been so helpful. And so sometimes it's for me getting the things off my chest that maybe, woke me up in that morning and they're there, right? And so being able to just move and get those things out, and just research shows that when you actually can journal and you can just put your thoughts to paper, or you put them somewhere else, and actually it's much better to put to paper than to technology, because I've told you we're not having screens at this moment. It's a very powerful exercise because it allows you to kind of take that out and take it out from your mind, but also that allows you to have a different focal point and put yourself in different energy. And I haven't mentioned coffee because if you can wait for at least 90 minutes, which is what a lot of doctors are saying right now is the best time to actually have caffeine, because your body needs to naturally wake up. You need to actually move your body, have the hot water, maybe a little bit of tea. But if you have caffeine straight away, you're not allowing your body to do its job and wake up in a way that it's supposed to. The chemicals that are naturally getting produced in your body, we don't want to bypass that. We want to let that work. If you can wait for 90 minutes after waking up for your first set of coffee, this is going to help your nervous system stay in a regulated state, but it's also very beneficial for your own discipline about having a routine and taking care of your body. And one more thing with the coffee and with the caffeine, lots of doctors are saying right now, you want to make sure that you eat before having caffeines. So if you're like, I cannot wait for 90 minutes, 60 minutes, well, make sure that you even have a little bit of food in your system, because if you don't, the caffeine has nothing to actually use and burn. So you want to make sure that you have eaten and that You've waited as long as you possibly can. Now, that's kind of what you're putting into your body, but you also want to make sure that you are moving your body. Let's say that you're busy, you take your kids to school, or you've got something, that form of, you've got a responsibility, right? You've got a responsibility that you can't just say, you know what, I've got all of this time. So maybe you can't go for a walk. Maybe you can't do 20 minutes of yoga, but you can do 5 minutes of stretching. If you've got kids, do 5 minutes of dancing. Because what this is doing, this is naturally waking up your body. This is naturally setting the stage for what can be a beautiful, fabulous day. Movement is movement of energy. That movement of energy is great, especially if you're busy and stressed out. So even doing all of these things, besides the caffeine, which I've already kind of said, that's like 90 minutes after you've woken up, but all of those other things can be done in 30 minutes. Remember who you are and that you can actually do specific things that can allow you to become who you are and be the best version of who you are in just 30 minutes. By doing those things, you're allowing yourself to be at ease. You're allowing yourself to be more creative. You're allowing yourself to feel into who you are again, and you are getting back your control. So these are the tools that you can do to actually have a great start to your day as an entrepreneur. And we haven't even talked about two more things that are literally make when it comes to your productivity, when it comes to your creativity. And that is still this dissonance between you and your phone, your screen, and what is causing you stress. The notifications, the emails, all of those things are adding up into the things that you have to do. Your goal here is to reduce that load. You don't want to have that load as a leader, as an entrepreneur of your business. You have to address that load. Having a block of creativity where you get inspired from internal wisdom, where you get inspired intrinsically into the areas that you've got to work on. If, let's say, you are planning a launch or trying to solve a problem, imagine what you could do if you actually got to spend time carved out immediately in the morning by doing those things, checking your email, where you're naturally going to go into firefight mode, problem solving, frustration. When you are in that mode, it is much more difficult to get out of that mode and back into the creativity. You're going to have to do tools to break the state of that. And it's much easier if you just set yourself up in the morning for success, which is allowing yourself to just be in that creativity, that building, that strategy, whatever that is for you in your business. And so that is true of checking email. That is true of going on social media where others' energy or demands can take from you. This is a natural boundary that you can actually put in place immediately. You don't need to tell anybody you're doing this. You need to tell yourself you're doing this. Now, everyone's different, obviously. If you don't have kids, you work for yourself, and you've got no distractions, you can hop in from bedtime to morning to office, whenever you want, however you want. This is going to be very different than if you got to get to the office to lead your team. This is going to be very different if you got to take your kids to school. But what you can do, my friends, you can do all of this still. Because if you think about it, I said 90 minutes until what? Until caffeine. You wake up, you still have 30, 35, 40 minutes of prime time to yourself. Let's say you've got kids. You got to wake up a little bit before your kids. That's what I have to do with my daughter if I want this routine to work. Let's say you don't. You have to wake up when you need to wake up for all of this to happen. So you got 30 minutes, so you can still do the things that you have to do to get ready. If getting ready has been watching videos, if getting ready has been going on your social media, if getting ready has been going to your inbox and getting stressed out, then your task for this week is to say, okay, how do I make a shift here? What are the things that I can do by removing these things for the first few hours of my day could actually make me more successful, more at ease, more peaceful? Then what is one thing I can do? That's all I need you to do. And I need you to take action on that thing. Because, my friends, this is where strategy and embodiment need to meet. The thing is this, you can find peace and ease in your business, and the first part of it is in your morning routine. So my friends, I'm excited to hear what your current morning routine is and how you can make a shift in it for more bliss, ease, and peace, because when you have that, you have much more in your business, not only from a financial standpoint, from a creative standpoint, from a fulfillment standpoint, and of course, from a peaceful standpoint. Until next time, this is Simone, and I'm signing off.